You either had to be living under a rock or just oblivious to what's happening in the product design space. We are using AI, integrated that into our design tools, making us way better and more valuable designers. Today, we're going to cover Claude coding, adding that to Figma and making that integration shine as a product designer. Okay, and we're going to do that iteration. I'm going to walk you through step by step so you have a really good understanding of what's going on in this space. So if that's your jam, stay tuned. Let's get to it. Yes, you've heard it. MCP, Claude Code, Figma, how those things are integrated. And there's a ton of videos out there. Shout out to the other designers that are making really great content that showcases this. I'm going to do it from my perspective and give you a step-by-step framework to work from and show you some examples of how it works and then the value that you get from it by being a designer and shipping or building products instantly. But first, I've been in the product design space for more than a decade, and I've seen transformations. I've seen shifts in the industry, and this one is major. I'm going to actually illustrate this first in my iPad because I still think being able to capture your ideas quickly is rule of thumb, and then we can adapt it in the first way. So I'm going to walk through, I'm going to just write out some steps of how we're going to approach it, and then we'll dive into it a little deep. Let's go. Steps for Claude to Figma. Now, some people may find it easier, especially if you have done a bit of front-end coding in the past. But don't worry, these will be easy steps, a couple of lines, a couple of script files, you'll be fine. But first, the first step is actually taking Claude and we're gonna add that to our workstation. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to make sure to add this into a space that we're going to work from. And we're going to do that using Terminal. And don't be alarmed. Terminal is essentially a command line interface, CLI. And this allows you to edit files, run commands and stuff all for your computer and your workstation. And so what we're going to do is use some code and we're going to add that to our workstation. The next thing we're going to do is then we're actually going to connect Claude, the MCP, we're going to connect that with Figma. MCP is a model context protocol, and this is essentially where you allow other tools to kind of share edit rights, credentials, features, database, all of that for another tool. And you do that by connecting them. Next thing we'll do is we're going to add some plugins. Figma itself has a plugin that allows you to integrate some of the tools that it has so that the performance and the build action is a little bit easier. It's very similar to plugins for Figma tool itself. You can use Spark, things for accessibility. You can use things for redlining projects, but the same idea, but just in a different way. And then once we have plugins, then we'll prompt. And prompting is just like every other AI functionality. We're actually going to jump in. We're going to build from a prompt that we add ourselves. And then we're going to push that to Figma. And then the last thing is iterate. And this will be kind of the process, and the approach that we have for doing this. 5 steps. First, we're going to make sure we use the terminal to connect Claude. Then we're going to do some eMPC adjustments to connect Claude to Figma and vice versa. We're going to add some plugins from Figma. Then we're going to start prompting and we'll iterate as we go. And you'll see how fast doing this will help you get up to speed from a visual perspective, and how this could actually be part of your workflow as a designer in today's era, from using AI, vibe coding, and so much more. So without further ado, I'm going to put this away and jump right into the workstation so we can get started. Let's go. Claude AI code. It's going to give me some results. Okay. And what I want to do is go to the first option. This is Claude Overview. It's going to give you the starting point to Claude. Now it's going to have the starting documents, and you can go through these on your own accord. But what we're really trying to do is get our starting point. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to click on terminal. Again, you can do VS Code. You can do the desktop app. You can do a few of those things. So I'm going to just do terminal for now. Right. And since I have a Mac, I'm just going to go over here and copy this particular script. Okay. And then I'm going to go at the top of this page to the top. And I'm going to type in terminal. See? And then it's going to launch the terminal. In this console, I'm just going to drop in, all right? Just going to drop in this script. And it's going to run it. Okay. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to wait and let it set up Claude Code. You see, it's building right here in the browser. So you can take a step back. It's going to set up, it's going to work through the paths, and then it's going to tell you that, hey, this installation is complete. So now you know that the installation is done. So what I'm going to do now is use this as a Claude project starting point. Now I've already added this. You've seen it successful. Then I'm going to actually create a project directory. Okay. This tells me to change directories, but I'm going to actually create one. So I'm going to go back into terminal. So now we're going to open this up and we're going to do something different. We're going to go and this allows us to point directly to where we want to go. So we're going to do documents, our documents folder, and then we're going to / again, and we're just going to put Claude Code projects. Boom. So now we've actually created that. If we go to verify that, we're going to go here up to our documents folder, and this is what we have right here. Nothing's in it right now as it stands. So that's kind of what we're working with, but we see that this made that directory. Complete. So I wanted to show you this because it's not always clear for folks. Copy and paste this exact command in the terminal. So now I'm going to copy this. It's telling me, giving me fixes, right? Copy this. I'm going to go back into the terminal. And I'm going to now run. Oh, actually, let me close this out. I'm going to get a new terminal window.
I'm gonna paste this in, boom. This does two things. It adds local bin to the path and a configuration file. Immediately reloads that configuration file so that it could take those changes. All right. Now you want to run this particular command. Okay. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that in there and run with help. Okay. Now you should see all of this that runs. Okay. It's going to pull up the prompting for it because now it's printing this session and it'll tell you what options. These are the commands for a particular setup. So you want to add directories. You want to search for Chrome, use that, debug a file, and then it gives you the prompt relative to it. Okay. So now that you have these, look at that help output. Okay. And it should tell you exactly where and why. Okay. So it was installed into this particular bin, this path, but it didn't know to look for them there. Okay. So always it'll check that folder every time. Okay. So now you don't need to do that every time. Now that you have this, now you can definitely, I'm going to type in Claude just to see. It should pull up this particular instance now. All right. So that's how you fix one of the issues that was lingering with Claude. Some of these things can get hung up, but you don't have to really focus on it. You could just pop it in like I did. I got this particular result. Excuse me. Now we're troubleshooting this particular result from it. It gave me this feedback. I just popped it in. Here are the steps and voila. Don't frustrate yourself and get bent out of shape. Just keep plugging away at it and then you should be fine. So now that we're here in this particular terminal and we have this set up, it's going to tell you that, hey, you could check for the updates, all of that stuff, but we should be good to go. I'm going to choose the text style that looks best. I'm going to go with dark mode. So from here, I selected that and now it's going to tell me that it needs access, and it takes me here and works its magic because now it wants to authorize what my pro account is doing to the actual account. And I'm going to authorize this. So now it's syncing between the terminal as well as the actual Claude app. Now it's going to say, hey, you can actually keep going. We're going to do this. So now we're back here. I'm going to actually hit enter. I'm going to hit enter to continue. All right. So it gives me these security notes. Do the prompt injection risk. Only use it with code you trust. Okay. I'm going to hit enter again. Do one. So now that we're here and we configured most of this, now what it's telling me is we have the ability now to then start to explore what it looks like. This gives me the configuration, the setup, all of that. But now I'm actually going to get started. I have no commits, no clones or directories or anything like that. CD. I'm going to change my directory because I already made one. All right. I'm going to go with documents. I'm going to put it here. Now it's going to change into this particular area. So now you see it went from documents to this one that I created. So CD for that. And then we can get started. So now that we have the terminal and all of that figured out, right? We're good here. We pointed, changes our directory. Now we're actually going to make that connection. This is kind of the main build. This gives us our sub agents and it talks about all of that. But what we really want is the MCP. So we're going to go to here, model context protocol. And if you don't know, it's a way for AI tool integrations. And these servers gives Claude access to APIs, tools, other things, and workflows. Okay. So now it's going to tell us the most popular ones. So we're going to go through Notion, Canva, Slack, all of these. We're going to find this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this command. We're going to copy this. We're going to go back to our terminal. And then we're going to just drop this right here. Okay. We're going to run that. And now it's going to say, hey, we need to approve it. Do you want to proceed? Because this is going to say we're going to pull from Figma's server to Claude. This is that connection. Yes. So we're going to hit 1. Now it's going to pull from that local directory. Now that we have that, it says it's added it successfully. Now we're going to go here and we're going to look up. We're in Figma developers right now, and we're going to look up the Figma MCP and how to do the installation here. So we know we're past this point, and we want to go through the Claude setup. So we added this particular command. As you can see, we added that here. So that gave us this information. So now we want to make sure that we authenticate. That tells us we need to type in this so we can then select it. Sorry, we're going to do Claude first. And we do MCP. Run. So now this allows it to look at Claude and work through the nuances of that server. So now it's telling me, hey, I have this information. And is this command being approved? I'm going, yes, I want to use it. So I hit 1. Now it's going to authenticate, essentially. Authenticate based on the API token. You can run this update, or you can get your personal access token from the settings. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into Figma settings and get my access token and then work through that. So what I'm going to do is generate one. And I'm going to say, I'm going to wait 90 days, right? So this is when it'll expire. Users, files, rewrite, right? I want to do all of these things. It's going to allow me to have access to the projects, any webhooks, any modifications. So now I'm just going to do Claude. Project token. So this lets me know that I have these tokens. It's going to expire in 90 days, and then I'm going to generate it. Okay. So I'm going to copy this, and this is my particular token for access. Once you have that, you can then minimize this. You can go right back in here and you can paste it. And this will give you the token to do direct access. So I'm going to run this shenaniganing, and it's going to do its thing. It's saying, hey, it updated the Figma token. This requires approval. Do I want to proceed? Absolutely. I'm hitting 1. Let's go. So it's still running, but it requires some approval. So I'm going to hit yes. And now it's trying to track that process, and it's thinking. And now I've added that token, and it said it removed it, added it here, and re-added it for authorization. So do I want to proceed? I'm hitting yes. Bebopping. So now this is all the approval you have to go through. It needs authentication. So I'm going through this series of authorizations just so it could kind of go through the motions. Okay, so what it's telling me to do is I have to go through OAuth to do it and ask for permission. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back into our Figma file here. Boom. Continue. Boom. So we're going to get that from the authenticator, and then we're going to put that digit to here. We're going to verify it, and then boom. Copy. So now we can go back to our terminal. And then, so now it's telling me to do this. So I'm going to open a new terminal. All right. And then I'm going to run this actual command. Accessing. So now that we have that out the way, and now that we got this, trying to make sure that we don't need anything else from here. Okay. So then we're going to go for says MCP. So now it prompts me here. And so now I'm going to put in this authentication code and do it. So now I'm logged in, agree and allow access. This is exactly what you're trying to look for. And once you get this, after going through the MCP server, connection and authentication, then this is what you actually receive. Now that I'm logged in here, I'm gonna have multiple accounts, but I'm logged into this one. I'm gonna agree. Now you have authentication set up. So I'm gonna go back. Let's start a new window. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually add this, and I'm gonna hit and install it. Oh. So we're gonna see MCP. Boom. We should have it. Cool. Now we go to boom. Bam.
Now that we have everything added, all of these things synced so they can kind of communicate with one another, then we're going to jump back into this terminal. And we're just going to actually use a prompt, one that we come up with. Let's say design a just going to have it design and project management dashboard that keeps track of plant inventory, sales, and delivery. This is a SaaS company. This is a modern. Sometimes you got to be very specific when you actually make these prompts. A modern SaaS company in a sleek style with dark green, and gray colors. So design a project management dashboard that keeps track of plant inventory, sales, and delivery. This is a modern SaaS company in a sleek style with dark green and gray colors. That's all I'm going to use as my prompt today. And we'll see exactly what happens when Claude and Figma kind of team up and do their thing. So we're just going to run this right now. Let's see what happens. Now, all things considered, you should be able to have a wonderful experience with this, a better one that I've had in the past. Now, from this, you should be able to get a really good basis for what that looks like. What I also didn't do, I didn't copy a link to the page that I wanted to put it in. So we'll see just how it's going to do. Now that that prompt has been added, I'm just going to pause this video and come back as this starts to populate its designs so you can see the results of what's happening there. All right, back in a minute. From the looks of it, you can see it captured the dashboard. That's what I asked for. It actually styled it in the colors that I chose, that green with the gray. It added its own icons, stuff like that, right? So very straightforward. Deliveries has different views that we can actually interact with. And this is a really good starting point. Now, if I were doing this for a major client, I would actually say, hey, I would use some of this, but tweak it to my own liking. Now let's go to see what it actually did in the Figma file. So that was in the browser. Now we're going back to the Figma file, and this is what it came up with. So I'm actually in here and I can make adjustments. I can click on different elements. You see there are containers. You can see there's files. I can hide these, right? I could show these, I can make adjustments, change the fonts. I can do a lot of things that to modify this to my own liking. But this is a really good starting point, especially if you want to iterate on different types of files. Here you can see I can adjust a lot of these. Let's just do some text adjustments. Search plans. All right. Category types. So it did a really good job at coming up with a good starting point. If I wanted to iterate on this, I could, or build out some things as I looked into it a bit more. Now we're just gonna go back in here. This is what's live, it's local, right? I can select this layer, navigation, and then I could then go back to, let's see, and then say, whoop, so now I'm just gonna ask it to do something. I'm gonna make some changes. And it's just a small change. This is what I've selected as my icon. And now I'm saying, hey, this particular element, change the background instead of a linear one. Change it into just a solid color. And now we're going to go back to the local file and we're gonna refresh just to see what happens. Because done. Okay, so it's saying that it was done. We're gonna refresh just to see. So I selected it, it didn't change it to solid. So again, we'll make some tweaks. We'll try to see what we can do in the meantime. But right now, this is a good way to iterate live in the browser and then have something that I can communicate to devs with and say, this is kind of the direction I'm going in, tweak a few things, maybe adjust some things on the fly. But it doesn't take me doing pixel perfection every step of the way just to get an idea out of my head. It can only improve from here. And if this is the starting point, then I'm here for it. Let me know what you think. And I have Claude to thank. Thanks, Claude. In an effort to shorten this video, I won't go back and forth and tweaking different things, but I wanted to show you the steps to doing that. One, the outline, how to do it. Two, you see it in action, me building and actually putting the pieces together to make this happen. Then running it and seeing what the results could be. So if you actively prompt it in a better way, you may, in most cases, get better results. So look at how you're prompting it, how you're crafting it. And if you have a PRD or some kind of reference point, that's a really good way to add it to this code tool to give it context, and it could produce something way better than what I just got. So there you have it. Now you can see the value of integrating Claude Code with Figma and how the iteration process happens. Think of it like tokens, how you can iterate, grab, and mix and match. Think of it also as a way to version control files. You have the ability to start creating and building from just your idea without the need to bother developers, without going through a full-on weekend of coding or anything like that. You can literally build in this tool and get up to speed to start to ship products way faster than ever before. I'm glad you were able to tune in. I hope this helped and gave you some value. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. And if there are some other tools you want me to add or some things you want me to cover here. Now, there's also a way to do this with Claude as the desktop app But I really wanted to kind of dive in deep with the terminal because it was its primary use at the starting point. That's all we have for today. I hope this helps you in any way. Like the video if you feel like you got value from it, and share it with someone you feel that it can help. In the meantime, your life has color, so make sure to design it that way. And if you want more information on how to fix your app, build something great from that, click this link or add some gamification into your product. Click that video and I will see you in the next one. Never forget to subscribe. Take care.